And we're live. And before we went on air, I was simply talking about a simple fact. The reason people fuck up Superman, whether it be in movie form, a lot of comics have gone wrong with this, is that people who don't know the character fuck up and they compare Superman to Batman, right? They're like, well, he's like Batman. And
that is comparison, mind you.
Well, here's the thing. Batman is psychotic. He belongs in Arkham Asylum with all the other criminals because at the heart of it, Batman's a fucking criminal, okay? And there's something wrong with someone who's experienced immense trauma and for the next, 40, 50 years of his life, he goes around dressed up in an outfit beating up criminals. There's something significantly wrong with that, okay? Here's how fucked up Bruce Wayne is. In his mind, Bruce Wayne is the disguise. He calls himself Batman. There's something wrong with this person. Now, here's where Superman is the polar opposite of that character, okay? Superman, everyone's like, well, Superman, blah, blah, blah. Superman is just a small town boy who came to the city, and he's doing what he was raised to do. Not by Jor-El and Laurel, his parents that uploaded themselves into the kryptonite data crystal, and then when he turned 20-something, he went to the Fortress of Solitude and went to space college and all that shit. Fuck that. His parents.
He was raised by two Earthlings.
Yeah, his parents are Mom and Pa Kent, simple, salt-of-the-earth folk who basically raised him to be good, be humble, be honest, do the best you can, help out your fellow man, blah, blah, blah. Except here's the thing. Superman has way more power than the average Joe Blow person. So when he helps out his fellow man, he has way more options to do that than just, hey, let me help you change your tire, okay? But at the core of it, that simple salt of the earth, do the best you can, help out other people aspect is who he is. It's what he is. Superman is the disguise. Clark Kent is who he is. Superman's just an outfit that helps him do what he wants to do anyway. That's the entire point behind Superman. And that's where every single fucking movie fucks it up. The Zack Snyder film fucked it up because they fucked up the Kents. And Superman is a character that if you fuck up his parents, you fuck up all the origin that goes with that character.
And please do not go into alternate universe ideas, please.
Well, there's Red Sun Superman, which is part of the whole point. Is Superman, it depends on who raises him, because Red Sun Superman was raised in communist Russia, so he's a fucking communist.
I said
that's a
don't
dark
bring that up because that's a dangerous story already.
And then there's my favorite Superman is the Superman that fought Muhammad Ali under a red sun and got his ass kicked. That's a fun one. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Pow! But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get to it.
And if anything, let me do this.
All
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bullshit Busters Light. I'm Jory. I'm on Star. Welcome. And if anything, we do have plenty to talk about, especially an indie direct.
Yeah, we do.
As well as a console reveal announcement from a new and upcoming competitor to the gaming market.
We can get into that topic.
That's kind of a strong. I don't want to say competitor.
I would say that's Shred Fox. Want to bite first? Nindies. I'm gonna say Nindies, the console.
Let's do Nindies first because that'll be easiest to get into. So let's get through this list. The first one is Cuphead.
And if anything, for people like me that's been with Nintendo the whole time, this is a treat.
Yeah.
And it took them a while to get a Switch port. And now all you need is Kingdom Hearts 3, and I have no reason to buy a Xbox One.
If you're waiting on Kingdom Hearts 3 to land on the Switch, I'm gonna give you a challenge. I want you to learn Never mind. It's too vulgar. Basically, you're going to be waiting a long time. I hope your hair doesn't turn gray before Kingdom Hearts 3 hits the Switch.
It'll probably take a year or two. Like,
okay, you keep on hoping.
For me, I'm going to say that the time that it's not, if Kingdom Hearts ever comes to a Nintendo console, it's not going to be on the Switch.
That's all I'm going to say. It's not going to be on the Switch. Nope.
But if anything, I'm going to say this. The reasons that they don't want to put it on the Switch or any Nintendo console, total BS.
Well, I don't know the reasons they won't put it on the Nintendo console. I'm just saying it's not going to happen.
I mean the usual BS excuses.
But they've made these same fucking excuses for Kingdom Hearts not coming to the system before. They were like, well, Kingdom Hearts 1 can't come to the GameCube because what was the bullshit? What was the bullshit reason? Disc size, which is bullshit because Tales of Symphonia came to the GameCube. That game was huge.
As I said,
Bait and Katos came to the GameCube. That game was huge. Like, there are games that are bigger than Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 that came to the GameCube. So the disc size didn't make any sense. Okay, and fair enough. They're like, okay, we can't make it come to the GameCube. Well, how about the Wii? The Wii was a decent power jump from the GameCube. Why didn't Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 come to the Wii? Okay, fair enough. You didn't want to do that. Why didn't Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 come to the Wii U? I mean, you had the 1.5 and 2.5 games come to the PS3, and the Wii U was more powerful than a PS3. So why didn't it come to that? Oh, wait, because it's full of shit. Okay, it's Square Enix just doesn't want to do it. So I'm not gonna,
Yeah. If anything, we already have enough beef with Square Enix.
I'm not going to keep on trying to stop it. But anyway, let's get to these games.
And we don't want to get any fatter from that.
So we've got Outlands, which is kind of like a strategy, tactical RPG, turn-based combat thing, but there's like real-time consequences, and it gets harder the farther you get into it, and it's procedurally generated, which is cool, I guess. I don't know.
If you're a tactics fan, this is actually pretty neat. Though it will bite you at the rear end because it changes things up every time you play.
Yeah, but a lot of procedurally generated games are like that. That's not really a new thing. A lot of games do that. I mean, look at what was the name of that game? Darkest. Shit, I forgot what it was. Darkest, whatever. But anyway, let's see what else we got going on in here. My Friend Pedro, which is about a guy going around murdering people at the behest
with a banana as his assistant.
Well, it's a talking banana, a banana that talks to him and tells him to do these things. So basically, it's a murder simulator about a crazy person killing things. So I mean, we've had worse. BioShock has a guy, an aborted fetus that was somehow saved and was conditioned to basically do whatever he was told with the catchphrase, "Would you kindly?" So, I mean, having a guy talk to a banana and do the same thing, it's about even, but just as crazy. And then we have NeoCab, which is set in a dystopian future where a mega corporation runs everything. And
you're the last human driver.
You're the last human cab driver, and it's like there's an overarching story, but you're also doing like basic cab driving shit. So, I mean, the game looks cool, but the premise, like the actual gameplay, doesn't look that interesting. It's like one of those things. This looks cool.
It's like one of those.
It looks great, but I wouldn't play it.
I think it's one of those story games.
Well, there are games that have good stories that I'll play, but this one looks really cool, but the gameplay is just probably shit for me.
As in, there's minimum gameplay, loads of story.
Yeah, and then there's the Red Lantern, which, if I remember correctly, is a RPG.
It's a bit of an RPG where you have to take care of the dogs, take care of yourself, hunt, all up on the Alaskan wilderness.
Yeah. That's the roguelike game where you're a musher. I'm like, that sounds cool, but no. I saw Balto, and I did a run. I mean, look, the fact that someone made a game about mushing dogs is, I don't want to call it amazing because it's not the word I'm looking for.
I think the word is, huh?
No, there's a lot of imagination in this world. Then we have Ultra Bugs, which is part of the Vlambeer arcade collection. There's no set date when the arcade collection is apparently a set of games that are going to be a part of it. But Ultra Bugs is just one of them, and it's like a shooter where you're shooting shit, but like every time you kill one of these bugs, they multiply. And the pressure just goes up until you meet a boss, and then that makes it decrease. And plus, when you beat a boss, you unlock attributes which you can
add to your
customize your ship with, which is cool. I know it sounded like I said shit, but ship, which is cool, I guess.
All those games that you mentioned besides Cuphead had no release date mentioned.
Mm-hmm. The one game I really care about from the indies wasn't even there. So, and we all know what game that is. Steambot Quest. Anyway, then we have Darkwood, which is like another one of those games that looks really like the art style looks really cool, but the gameplay looks kind of boring.
Like you're swatting pinballs all around. If I got it right.
No. Darkwood is the one where you're like, it's set in like a Russian like apocalypse, and there's like people. I remember.
It's a fast-paced battle game where you're basically got one life to live.
No, that's the Wolf game. Darkwood is a survival game where you're basically, it's set in a like a radiation apocalypse, and it's set in this wood, and you've got to, like, during the daytime you've got to go out and scavenge, and at night you've got to go to your hideout and fortify it and shit. And it just looks really slow and plodding and deliberate. And it's coming in May, but I mean, I probably won't get it. I don't like games like that. Katana Zero, which fucking looks awesome.
Yeah, you get one HP, and so does your opponents.
Yeah. You play an assassin who goes to a therapist who gives you medication, which lets you slow down time. And then after you go see your therapist, you go home, you take a nap, and then the next day you get up and go kill a whole bunch of people all over again. And that's the game. I mean,
therapy.
Now, I mean, we've seen this done before in movies where like a hitman or a mafia boss goes sees a therapist and then continues on with their life and all that type of stuff. But this is the first time we've seen this done, in a game form, where a hitman goes sees a therapist and takes medication for the fucked up shit that the hitman does. In this case, it's a hitman with a katana, but shit, whatever. And then we have Rad from Double Fine being published by Namco Bandai, which, I mean, and here's the thing, Rad is being made in Unreal. So we don't have to hear that, well, the Switch can't handle the Unreal Engine, which we knew that was bullshit years ago.
Is it 3 or 4?
It doesn't matter. Because all of those engines are meant to be scalable. Like the Unreal Engine can be put on a fucking smartphone. So if you can put the Unreal Engine on a fucking smartphone, and this was like 2 or 3 gens ago. This was like when smartphones were first coming out, like the iPhone 4, the iPhone 3. People were putting Unreal games on it. So if you could put the Unreal games on shit like that, there's no excuse for Unreal games not coming to a Nintendo system other than companies just didn't want to do it. Which I'm not angry about, but I'm angry that people keep on believing the bullshit. So it's from Double Fine, one of my favorite publishers that people like to hate on, that I'm like, but I like their game.
To be honest with you, I haven't heard from them in a good while, so this was a surprise.
Well, I'm subscribed to their feed, so I get a lot of stuff. They've been highlighting women who work at Double Fine during March, because March is Women's Month. So, yeah, it's great. Then we have Creature in the Well, which is the pinball-esque game where you go in through 8 dungeons and you get weapons that you use to gather energy balls and like bounce them around like pinballs in order to take out enemies. This is another game in fine tradition of games that like look like something else, but at their core are basically pinball or block breaking games, kind of like Breakout or Super Breakout or Breakout Do It Again, stuff like that. I mean, it looks interesting. I'll probably get it on PC when it comes to PC, because I don't want to pay for that online on Nintendo's thing. Then we've got Bloodroots, which I don't quite remember what it was.
Let me check real quick.
Is this the one that's... Isn't that the overworld indie game where you get to beat up anyone or anything?
No, that was Revenge with Mr. Wolf.
Huh.
I don't remember Bloodroots, so that's why I'm kind of like I don't quite remember what that game was.
Yeah, I was gonna check it real quick to see if I could figure out what kind of game it is real quick.
Here, let me look it up on YouTube. Bloodroots sounds interesting, but
yeah, if anything, the Nindies games should be showing up on the
No, right. I'm sorry. No, I got it. Bloodroots is the game where you're the guy with the wolf skin on his head going around just killing everything in fantastic ways.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get you.
No, I had it right. I just I had the title wrong, but yeah, that's Bloodroot, which looks interesting. You go around beating the shit out of everything in fantastic ways. Squimsanity is the game where it's online and multiplayer, or even if you play single player, there's like bots controlling the other 3 characters. Yeah, it looked interesting. I'm probably not going to get it because I don't really like multiplayer games that much, even ones with bots, unless you're talking about something like 4 Sword Adventures, but even then, that's not that fun. Your guys' thoughts on it?
I'm interested in trying it out myself. As long as it has a physical release in the future.
Seems kind of cool to me.
Pine anything, cool.
It'd be at least fun to watch some people go crazy with it.
Pine looked cool. Pine was the game where you're basically a.
I was about to say, Slimsanity, I agree with you that it might be a good game, but you might be a little iffy with the with co-ops.
I just don't want to play online, and if I'm not playing online, I have to play with friends. And I'm not inviting people to my house just to play video games, unless it's something like Smash Brothers but mostly just Smash Brothers. No, I don't have Mario Party. I don't want Mario Party. I'm burnt out on Mario Party. I was burnt out on Mario Party with Mario Party 3. So you can tell by this point, I'm really like not interested in that series. Like I had my fill years ago, so I'm really like people are like, you want to play Mario Party? Nope. But anyway,
anyhow, yeah. Pine's a faction game that that allows you to gather some stuff up, build relationships between the clans that you like and hate,
Yeah, the
and
game
to make it to how you want it.
the game looks like a mini open world action RPG, like Skyrim or something like that. Except it's built around interacting with these factions and gathering stuff in order to make better weapons and items and armor so that you can better progress. I mean, if there's some more depth, if they tell you that there's some more depth, like side quests and stuff like that, and like overarching main quests, something like that, I might get it because it looks interesting. But if all it is just you interacting with these factions, I'm like, Like the premise is really cool, but if that's all you're doing, then I'm kind of like,
it
not
needs
really.
more.
I need more in games these days, not just that. And then we've got Nuclear Throne, which is, I mean, if I didn't already have that game on PC, I'd be really excited. But I mean, that's kind of the problem with a lot of these games. Either I already have them, or either I already have them on PC if they've already come out, or like I've either I already have them, or I've already pre-ordered them on Steam, or I'm not interested in them. The one game that they had, which is coming up, which is Blaster Master 2, which I bought as soon as I got home. Like as soon as I saw the direct, I'm like, oh, it's ready today. So I pre-ordered. I just bought it and downloaded it. Haven't played it yet, but it looks cool.
It sure while he's talking with us, it's likely downloading.
It's probably already downloaded, but because I mean that was like at 6:30, so it's probably already downloaded already. But yeah, Blaster Master 2, totally worth getting. It's from Inti Creates. They're a good studio, and don't hold Mighty Number 9 against them. That's not their fault. And Nuclear Throne, which, like I said, if I didn't already have that game, I'd probably be really excited about it. But I already have it, beat it on PC. Like I don't feel like buying it again just because it's on the Switch. But for those of you who don't have it, I mean, it's a nice little like twin stick shooter. So I mean, if stuff like that excites you. And the big surprise was Cadence of Hyrule, which is kind of like a, how can I put this?
It's EBA meets dungeon crawling.
Well, actually, I was going to say it's kind of like it's the sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer, except like your character in Crypt of the Necrodancer escaped the crypt, except she didn't go out into the world she was in. She's in Hyrule, so there's like Link and Princess Zelda in there. So that's cool.
One question: are these the Link to the Past versions of Link and Zelda, or are they like?
No, it's Princess Zelda. It's more of like a Hyrule Warriors Zelda who can use magic, and the Link they're using looks more like Toon Link. It's more cartoonish looking. Which I mean, hey, listen, I like Link. I like most of the Links except for Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild Link. Those are the only two Links where I'm not too wild about the character design. But aside from that, they all look good. And when I say wild, I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying I'm not like this is the best version ever. I'm like, it's pretty good. It's okay. It's not unbearable. Let me put it that way. But anyway, let's see. Where else are we going? So those are all the games that they showed. Plus, they pimped out some other stuff that's coming. But the one game that I was really most excited about, they didn't show. And we all know what game that is.
Welcome Melee?
Nope.
Pink's gonna have fun trying to guess this one.
Well, I can't say Blaster Master 02 because that was already shown in the showcase. Trying to think, what was the latest indie game that he enjoyed?
It's called Steam World Quest, man.
Oh! Now I remember.
Yeah, I didn't feel like listen. Yeah, Steam World Quest is really like that's the big game that I want to hear more about, and sadly,
I don't see the appeal
what Steam World
of
Quest.
the Steam World series.
Well,
Just,
I mean,
you just dig searching for treasure.
well, I mean, how can I explain it? The first game wasn't even. It was called Locke's Quest, where it was basically like each of the Steam World games is its own thing. Like they're different. Each one is different. So the first one was a tower defense game where basically you're a human protecting this town from rogue robots, and you get equipment, and then you use like from defeated enemies, and you use that to build better, to upgrade the town, and build better turrets and defenses to defend the town. So it was like a vicious cycle. And then basically the second game was Steam World Dig, where you play as a robot named Rusty, who basically like inherits a mine from his uncle. And you dig down, you get treasure, you upgrade your character, dig down. But the interesting thing about Steam World Dig, about the world, is that basically there's an overarching story through each game that basically unfolds like what the fuck happened, like where are all the humans and how did things get to this point? Because the world of Steam World Dig is really fucked up. And it's like, how did it get to this point? And the more you discover, the more you're like, damn. And they jump through time. Like Locke's Quest chronologically is the first game because humans are still around. But then in Steam World Dig, there's no, like, the only humans you see are like insane, and they live deep underground, and they're either high on drugs or just insane. And then you play Steam World Heist, where you're in space, and like the Earth is exploded, and bits and pieces are chained to what's left with giant chains. And it's like, how the fuck did that happen? Which they explain in Steam World Dig too. And so now they have Steam World Quest, and I'm like, where do we go from here? Like, I'm entranced with the story, and the gameplay is pretty solid, but not everyone is going to get into it, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I like Steam World Heist too. It's all pretty good. But anyway,
Guess we can move on to the other biggest news of the week.
Yeah, Google threw their hat into the console ring.
And there's some things that we are gonna say right now, but first let's get the positive stuff out of the way first.
What
there is any. I said if there is any.
Don't everyone jump in at the same time now.
We could loosely call it a console, even though there's no physical. It's not available.
I'm gonna jump into the. I'm gonna use a pun here, and you guys know what's coming up. You could almost call it a virtual console. Oh!
I was waiting to get. I was always trying to say, let's get the positive stuff out of the way first, because there's a lot of negatives that we could hammer on.
Well, I mean,
hammer bro.
The only real negatives that I can think of really are that the conference didn't really give any solid information about what are the internet specs you're going to need in order to use the system, what's the price point, and what games, aside from some shit that we know is going to be on everything, like Doom Eternal, that's going to be on everything. I'm sure if id Software and Bethesda could get that shit to run on a smartphone, it would be on a smartphone. And I don't mean via the cloud with Google Stadia. I mean, like, literally, if you could download it and run it on a smartphone, you could do it. They'd probably try and do that shit.
Supposedly they're going to show our first-party titles for the Stadia later this summer.
Well,
probably at E3.
I have no idea why. But here's what I'll say about Google. Okay. I've been hearing a lot of people saying, well, it's going to be like the Ouya. Someone said that it's going to be like the Ouya.
And look where the Ouya is now, by the way.
Here's what I'm going to say about this. Saying it's like Steam, it's like the Steam box, that's fair. But here's the difference. Comparing it to Ouya is not a fair assessment, because here's the thing. Ouya was a crowd-funded little shitty Linux-based, Android-based system. That was like basically you would download a game to the Ouya and then play it. A game that you could play on your smartphone, your tablet, your PC if you downloaded a Steam front-end emulator. Like literally, an Android front-end emulator. Like basically games that like there was nothing that was really exclusive. And the one exclusive game that people really wanted that Ouya managed to get went down in flames because it was on the fucking Ouya, which was Lobo Destroyo, Viva Lobo Destroyo. It was this really awesome N64-esque open world action adventure, kind of like Mario 64-esque game. It looked really cool. And then they were like, yeah, we're going to do an exclusivity deal with the Ouya. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why? Why would you fuck up like that?
I'm just going to say this right now. Besides what you mentioned before, there's also the issue about connectivity issues, which I think is going to be a given considering how efficient some of our internets are. And basically cheating the game, say save states of sorts by sending out certain game save states out to the internet and either giving challenges or basically playing where somebody left off, which they could be a pretty big and leave you with virtually nothing.
Well, anyway, the game looked really cool, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, what I'm saying is this: the Google Stadia looks cool. Like here's my problem with the Google Stadia. Even if they say they have first-party games coming to the system, I guarantee probably those games will probably also be available for download, so you can just buy the shit. And everyone, like Google, the hilarious thing about that conference that Google got up there and lied for like 30 minutes about how this is to fight against consoles. This is the fight against consoles. This shit is not to fight against consoles.
About that line, because that part, I almost burst into streaming tears laughter.
Well, I mean, because this isn't to fight against consoles. You want to know what Google is doing this shit for? Who they're really going after? You really want to know? You really want to know who they're going after?
The PC crowd?
Partially. The people who Google is really going after is Microsoft.
I was trying not to cry so hard in laughter because this is, yeah, you're right. This is directly going to kick Microsoft into the gems.
Because think about it. What is Microsoft going to unveil this year? Their Xbox Live games anywhere. The Netflix of gaming is what Microsoft has been internally calling it, right? And it's probably going to be $20 a month, and you have access to a certain library of games that you can play on anything. They're even like, yeah, you're going to be able to play these games on the Switch and be able to play it on your PC. You might even be able to play it on your smartphone or your tablet, right? Now, what is Google doing with the Stadia? You're going to be able to play a library of games. You'll be able to play it on your smartphone or your TV or your tablet.
And they never touch the console, but they are implying it.
And here's the thing. And here's the hilarious thing. What now? Here's where Google is probably going to kick Microsoft's ass. Okay. Now, Google doesn't have to support, the only hardware that they have to support technically is the controller. But here's the thing, you don't need to use their controller. All you need is a decent internet connection. That's it. And as someone who actually took part of the test they did for Stadia, I didn't know it was Stadia at the time, but now that I put it together, I mean, basically, I'm telling you right now, 1080p, 60 frames per second. Look, I'm not one of those graphic horror gamers who's like, man, my games have to be 8K.
Please don't be one.
144 pixels,
Forever
144 frames per second. First
if
of all,
you're ever one of those gamers, I will be hoping to find your address, drive up to your house, and smack some tar out of you for that stunt.
Well, first of all, I'm just gonna say this right now, okay? As a human being, you can't even see beyond 2K. That's if you have really, really, really good eyesight. You cannot see beyond 2K. So people who keep on saying, we need 4K, we need 8K, we need 12K. Fucker, you can't even see 12K.
Yeah.
It's like someone saying, it's like a dude saying, yes, I had a penis enlargement. Well, how large did you go? 3 feet. Why? Unless you plan on fucking a cow.
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. I can't.
Like literally, there is no reason for anybody to have something that big. Okay, there's no reason. Okay, there is no reason for anybody to have an 8K display for shit. Okay. And even then, you might kill a cow if that comes that big. But I mean,
I'm sorry, you just got me laughing riots.
but my point is that like the fact that Google's like, yeah, you can take it up to 8K, 12K, 4K. I'm like, dude, wait. Look, listen. First of all, you're already fucking up. Look, listen, okay. You haven't given us any specs. You haven't told us anything about how fast our internet connection needs to be, anything. You just threw some shit out there. That's where you fucked up.
You didn't even give us details on your controller other than just how it looks and what details it's going to have that separates it from the other controllers.
And that controller just looks like a generic fucking USB controller with some Google branding on it. And that D-pad looks like shit. Now, I can't talk too much because, I mean, I have a Switch and the D-pad that comes with the Joy-Cons is shitty too. So I can't, well, look, listen, it's not funny. See, here's the thing, okay? As a Nintendo fan, that doesn't mean I can excuse bullshit. The D-pad on the Joy-Cons is shit. I'm not gonna, just because it's Nintendo doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, oh well, this is bullshit, but I'm gonna ignore it because I like the company.
Because the D-pad for me is pretty neat.
And here's the worst thing about it is that I know Nintendo could do better because fuck, they hold the patent for the best fucking D-pad in gaming. So what the fuck is well, I know why, because they wanted to be able to say, well, you have two controllers and someone else can use this controller and the other person can use that controller. Well, here's the thing. I'm a single player gamer and I don't have people coming to my house to play. Like, I'm like, look, if you come to my house and you want to play on my system, bring your own fucking controller.
Speaking of Nintendo, since MacPat is on board with the Google Stadia, expect him to make another lockdown video about whether or not consoles should go away, including consoles.
Well, I mean, no. MacPat isn't on. MacPat got a check, and he's being paid to come up there and talk. Because Google has lots of money. Okay, like
he's getting Google paid to blow Google's thing.
Yeah, look, listen. I don't care. Even Jewel might talk shit, but if Google paid her a check and said, we need you to say some positive shit about the Stadia, and she said, $3 million? Right. Yeah, $3 million. Yes, this is the best shit ever. Hey, when you get that new car,
I got higher standards.
Shit, fuck you.
10 million at least. Because if anything, if you're trying to force me to say something I know is BS, and you're going to try to pay me, that's going to be a one shot, and it's going to be for life.
No, 3 million. Look, 3 million. 3 million. I could expand. I could take $1 million, expand to a new location, take the other 2 million, invest it, and don't have to work as hard for the next 10, 15 years. It's great.
I said 10 million.
I don't need a lot.
And that's for one shot only.
I'm not greedy. I just 3 million. I'm happy. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My point is this. Look, they cut him a check. He got some of that Google money, and he went and did what he had to do. I ain't mad. I don't. Look, I do not get mad at people because they getting paid, unless it's just complete and total bullshit, and it's obvious that they're just getting paid. Now, we will find out more, because that presentation was light on substantive details that are actually mean something to the consumer. I give overall that conference a C. It wasn't the worst conference.
Say C.
It wasn't Xbox One. It wasn't as bad as that Xbox One where Don Matrix we have a device for people like that. It's called Xbox 360. And Jeff Keighley's so you're gonna say that in front of all these people? Jeff Keighley tried to throw him a lifeline, and Don Matrick, as soon as he said it, and Jeff Keighley said that response, he knew he fucked up. He's like, "Well, I'm just saying." It's man, you fucked up. You better look. You might look. You like somebody who got caught cheating on your wife, publicly, bad. It's well, I better get a picture of my kids because I ain't gonna see them no more after she find out about this shit. I'm just gonna keep on driving. I ain't gonna stop by the house because it ain't worth it.
Most importantly, what will make or break this system, this quote-unquote console, is the internet connection.
Well, that and the games. Games. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come down to games. If the games are good, then people will get it. If the games are shit, Google will continue to throw money at it because Google has lots and lots of fucking money.
There's a problem with that line, Red Fox.
Well, I mean, here's how much money Google has. Okay, Google has about as much. Google and Microsoft are about, in terms of how much cash they have, are about equal. But here's the difference between Google and Microsoft.
I was saying Google has yet to have the experience that Xbox have when they threw money at their sinking ship.
Well, here's what I was going to say. Well, here's what I was going to say is the difference between the two, and this is why Google has more of an edge than Microsoft. Microsoft threw money behind the Xbox for 3 console gens. Well, 2.5. Now, 2.5. They have never dominated a single console generation, ever.
Ouch.
I had to say that 3 times. Google is already starting out in a very strong position because a lot of people are using Google already. They use Gmail. They're using Google Chrome. I'm using Google Chrome right now. You guys are probably using Google Chrome. A lot of people are using Google Chrome. A lot of people are using Android. A lot of people have their shit tied in with Android, which itself is using a lot of Google stuff. My point is that
your point is that
my point is that someone sent me a message and I had to block it real quick. My point is that Google is already in a really good position because here's the thing: they don't need everybody to use Stadia. They just need 1%. 1% of all the people in the world who have Google, who are familiar with Google, who have a decent internet connection. The people in South Korea, the people in China. Well, China has their shit blocked up. The people in Australia, the people other Polynesian islands that aren't fucked up and don't block their internet, people in Canada, people in the US, people in South America, Central and South America. They don't look, people in Europe, they don't, I mean, if they get just 1% in each of those markets, they're already ahead of the game. because they have such huge, like the lion's share of, internet stuff. So, I mean, I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, and here's the thing. Like they kept on saying they were using smoke and mirrors. This is to stop the console experience. The console experience. It's not about the console experience. They're going after Microsoft and their Xbox Live bullshit, like Xbox Anywhere bullshit. That's what they're going. That's who they're going after. That's who this is. That's who this is competition for. So Nintendo, you Nintendo fanboys out there, you Xbox fanboy. Well, if you're an Xbox fanboy, buckle up your pants because Google's about to unzip their pants and try and stick their Johnson someplace you're not gonna like it. But if you're a PlayStation fan, and they're going after PlayStation with their PSN Anywhere, their PlayStation Anywhere shit. For $19.99 a month, you can play your PlayStation games on PC. They're going after those streaming services. That's who they're going after.
Glad I'm not trying for those streaming services.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like I said, when I tried it out, it wasn't bad. I mean, personally, if the price point, if they're charging like $9.99 for 1080p 60 frames per second a month, and you get access to maybe like 8, 9, 10 games for $10, I wouldn't say no to that. Like I wouldn't be upset to pay $10 or like $60 a year for access to a library of games that I can play on any internet connection that's like relatively good. I wouldn't be angry about that. But I mean, it wouldn't be my primary way of gaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't be like, man, this is the best shit ever. I wouldn't be like, man, this is the only way I'm going to play games from now on. Like this wouldn't be my primary way of playing games.
It'd be a side activity.
Well, it'd be like, okay, like I want to play this game for X amount of time. And call it a day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I think we said enough about the Stadia as of now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can just cover it. We can just end it by saying, so would you give it a try? I mean, I already gave it a try, but would you give it a try? If someone said for free for a month, give it a try, see how you like it. If you don't like it, you don't need it. You don't need to use it. Would you give it a try?
I'd wait.
For free? If they gave you a free trial for a month, you wouldn't even use it.
No.
Damn.
I'd look before I buy because I
didn't say you'd buy it. I'm saying if they said, because that's what they did for me. They're like, yeah, you play it for free, you get a free game. I was like, okay, sure.
I said I'm iffy, as I said, because going for more than one system is a big commitment, especially if it kind of bites your pocket real hard. So I want to be careful about it.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
Hey, at least I'm at least more careful with my coin.
Okay, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we can move on to the other topic of the week, the fun topic, because we always have to have fun topics around here. We can't just go around just doing serious shit all the time. So the fun topic is this. What genre desperately needs a new breath of fresh air? What I mean by this is a genre that's kind of felt stale or boring or just samey, and you feel like it needs something new. And when it needs something new, like how would you do it? What new thing would you add to a genre or a franchise that would just make it different enough that it would be fun?
Sports titles and get rid of EA's hold and let somebody else play with it. Like, give us something like the EA big games of sorts.
So bring back like more arcadey things, and stop making and get rid of the monopoly.
Ultimate Team.
Stop the monopoly of
Yes. For the love of
the EA monopoly.
For the love of all that is heavenly, yes.
I agree with you, but I don't think. I mean, I think that the major thing is just you get rid of the EA monopoly. Get rid of the EA monopoly, and then you'll see more stuff. You'll see more arcadey stuff. Like, I would love another Tecmo Bowl. I wouldn't kill for it, but I would love another Tecmo Bowl, because that's like my Tecmo Bowl and Tecmo Super Bowl are like my favorite football games, because they're fun and they're arcadey.
I mean, where's all the sports games that people? I mean, where's all the sports games? Mostly, the only sports games that can even give you a breath of fresh air, or at least give you some fun to inject with, they're mostly in Nintendo, and they're rare.
No pun intended. Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's kind of
or on Xbox, either Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, or eShop.
Yeah, I mean, there are other fun sports games, but most of the really fun sports games I can think of are arcadey, like NBA Jam. Arcadey. That's not, you can't do this shit in real life like you do in NBA Jam. Barkley, Shut Up and Jam. Like, all these games that you can play are very arcadey and they're fun.
I said sports games because there's a plethora of sports games that could use this arcade treatment.
Yeah. Okay, I guess it's your turn, Pinky.
My turn. Let's see. I don't know if this is considered a genre, but all the first person style games for all genres, like shooters, platformers, and whatnot. And because it's mostly used for shooters, I like to see the first-person perspective used on other genres like JRPGs or sports.
Okay, all right. Let's see.
Man, I don't think we ever have a first-person sports game before.
I think some of the cricket games. Yeah.
And perhaps a first-person. Oh wait, no, there's already one.
What, a first-person beat 'em up?
Oh, first-person beat 'em up. I haven't thought about it yet. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I mean, you'd have to make combat in such a way that people don't get motion sick. Because the thing about like beat 'em ups is that like you're always like really kind of like the action. You're right there in someone's face when there's action, so that would be kind of hard to translate. On a 1-to-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people could get maybe motion sickness. I know I would. I'd be like, ugh.
It's just that the first person's perspective has been used so much on simulators and shooters.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's tons of things where first person would work really well than just always shooters. Like, what if you did it like an investigation game where you're like what if you did a game where you are you're a detective, except like everyone always goes cyberpunk or neo-noir. why don't you do your detective in a fantasy world where there's like, magic, mythical, magical races, and where like you basically have to do normal procedural type stuff like search for evidence, question people, but like you might have to go up, like instead of it just normally being like, oh, these are a group of thieves, it's like, oh shit, these thieves were working for somebody else and it turns out to be a group of necromancers. So then you have the combat.
You're talking about Call of Cthulhu, which is a first-person detective game.
Well,
based on the novel.
Not really. Call of Cthulhu. Cthulhu is basically like it's a horror thing. I'm thinking more of like you have a bright city. There's light. It's not so much this feeling of dread because there's some horrible, unknowable being that's so hideous that even if you try to comprehend even a small percentage of its existence, you go insane. I'm talking like literally, it's like a procedural, like any other point-and-click adventure, except it's first person. So you look at everything in first person, but it's instead of it being set in like a cyberpunk or neopunk or any of that other shit, it's set in
in the medieval times.
You could do, but it would be like a D&D like medieval, where it's like it's medieval but not medieval. You know what I mean?
I see.
Jewel knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Like D&D is medieval, but it's not medieval because they have toilet paper and conveniences and hot showers and shit like that.
It's between the medieval time and the steam age.
I mean, yeah, but it's like a lot of the things that we think that they wouldn't have, they have because of magic or science. Like people have plenty of food because like an area, while there might not be a lot of farmland, like the farms that do exist might be blessed by druids or, the god of the harvest. So they have way more harvest, like food produced than could possibly ever be produced. So people aren't starving. Unless you just don't want to work or you just don't have money or something, or there's a blight or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be cool. I guess it's my turn.
Funny thing is that I can understand what Red's saying.
Yeah, like I mean, it would be cool. It would be cool to play a first person, kind of like adventure mystery game where like you play a detective and maybe you have an office above a bar, but it's like it's set in a magical world. So the bar owner might be a dwarf and the barmaid might be a nymph, and like you go downstairs and you talk to the people, and you like it's an adventure game. So you ask questions, you get key phrases, which you can then ask other people that like opens other lanes of inquiry so that you can move the game along. Stuff like that. And then you also, because we don't want to go pure adventure because a lot of people find those games boring and slow, like you have occasional combat, but that would be like, I'm thinking kind of like, I don't know, like Zack and Wiki, but first person. I really like that game, by the way. Underrated, very underrated game, but really good. I guess it's my turn. I would like to see a open world GTA-esque game, but we constantly have games that are set at certain time periods. Like we always go with slightly in the future, or in the 60s for Mafia 3, or the 80s for Vice City, the 90s for GTA San Andreas, the aughts for GTA 4, the 2010s for GTA 5. Saints Row is set in like an eponymous 1980s, 1990s in some city in Chicago. All the way up to Saints Row 4, where the Earth gets exploded and you're in space, but in a simulation. But that doesn't quite count. I would like to see a open world action adventure sandbox style GTA-esque game, but instead of always making it based on something that's understandable for human beings, why don't we take it out the park and have it be set on an alien world in an alien city where you have aliens and shit. So then you could make it completely alien. Like you could have weapons that aren't really comparable to what we would have. You could have different alien species and stuff like that. You would still have the normal tropes of a GTA. You could steal vehicles and, you know,
steal vehicles,
beat up hookers, and except they're alien hookers, so they might not respect anything.
I was about to say, and not to mention, get yourself tailed by the police.
Yeah,
stupid.
Except the Popo in this have like laser guns and shit, you know. You know, deal with other gangs, but they're alien gangs, so it's like it's different, and you know you can establish your own crew, but they're like other aliens, so it's like, you know, like I just think that would be kind of cool. Just move the setting because I'm tired of games that are set like the only way that it's going to change. Well, in something that's familiar, the only way this is going to change is if I see something really cool, and that's if they do a GTA set in the 70s. That's the only way I'm going to give a shit is if they do a GTA set in the 70s.
You want GTA to be in disco era?
I want a GTA where the main character has a massive fucking afro. I basically want a GTA where the main character is like a cross between Black Dynamite and Shaft. As a matter of fact, I want the character's theme song to be Shaft.
But we already have a 70s GTA game, The Ballad of Gay Tony.
That's not a 70s GTA game. The Ballad of Gay Tony takes place at the same time as the other, the Lost and the Damned and the main story of GTA 4. It takes place all at the same time, and all that's in like the 2000s.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why you thought the Ballad of Gay Tony was. Is it because it's the Ballad of Gay Tony you thought it was set in the 70s?
Yeah.
No. I was going to say the Ballad of Gay Tony is themed with the 70s, but takes place in
it's not even themed in
their present time.
It's not even themed in the 70s. I don't know why anyone thought that. That's weird.
Because the expansion packs for GTA 3 were all separate titles rather than.
Well, they were separate titles, but they use the same engine. So like GTA 3, and then you have like
Vice City, which takes place in the 80s, and San Andreas, which takes place in the 90s.
Those are different games. They used the core same engine. The expansions were like Vice City Stories or Liberty City Stories. Those were the expansions. Like Vice City Stories is an expansion to Vice City. And I mean, it's okay. It was originally on the PSP, so it wasn't that great of a game. And when they ported it over to the PS2, it was because the PSP only had one thumbstick, and they didn't bother to add in the second thumbstick, so it was really weird controlling that game. Pretty good though. And then you have Liberty City Stories where, I mean, you play as a guy that you murder the shit out of in Vice City. So it's kind of like, I mean, that's one of the things I hate about side stories about characters that you know are going to die. It's like, I don't give a shit about you. You're going to die. Why do I care about your story? Because it's going to end tragically any goddamn way. Sadly, they never did a San Andreas stories, which is just a missed opportunity because that would have been fucking awesome. I wanted to know how Ken Rosen got from Vice City to San Andreas. That would have been awesome. Ken Rosen's the lawyer from Vice City who was on way too much, who snorted way too much cocaine. Way too much cocaine. Like, way too much. But anyway, yeah, that's what I want to see. A GTA set in the 70s, because I want to see a black protagonist with an afro and bell bottoms and a leather jacket driving a Mustang, wielding a Magnum with with an 8-track player in their car. and I want the game, because since Rockstar likes to have a lot of detail, I want the game to have so much detail that if you have an 8-track in the car and you hit a particularly rough part of the road, the 8-track will skip. Like in real life.
That would be a little too real, or at least that would be a funny detail. Because seriously,
8-tracks were hot for like 2 years. Yeah, 8-tracks were hot for like 2 years in the 70s. So basically, like some cars would have an 8-track player. Other cars that like maybe are like higher end would have a cassette tape player, which won out over the 8-track because basically it wouldn't skip. Now it had its own things, like the cassette would sometimes break, or the machine would eat your cassette tape or destroy it. And then it would unwind. You have to take a pin and rewind that shit back up again. My age is coming out on me today because people are finding out just how old my ass is. But yeah, that would be my ultimate GTA game. That would be like, I would either that or just go into space. Like I would prefer the into space thing, because then you could like have, like I said, completely just off the chain, just have space shit going on. And but if you can't do that, just have it be set in the 70s. Because then because you could get the rights to all that 70s, all that 60s, 70s, and 50s music cheap. You could get like Isaac Hayes. You could get a lot of Motown stuff. You could get a lot of stuff. You could even cheat and get like late 70s stuff, because the GTA games always kind of they cheat a little bit sometimes.
Take creative liberties.
Yeah, they take creative. Like you could cheat and have your character get his hands on a satellite phone. I mean, there were satellite phones, but they were mostly for military and special ops use for the government. And you could cheat and have a character get his hands on a cellular phone, a satellite phone. But yeah, that would be the shit for me. That would change everything for me. Now let's see if we have any questions, and we'll get to those. And if we don't, well, we can end it. Unless you guys have a topic that you want to bring up.
Well, I do have two, but I can save them for Saturday.
Oh, nope. We have some comments, and they're all from our favorite viewer, Jorge Saldivar. Have you guys ever heard of the Konami Classic Collection for the Switch? That is the start.
That was one of the two news I was going to mention before we could wrap things up.
No, that's really good news. No, I did not hear that they're doing the Konami Classic Collection. Let me look at this and see what games are in it, because if it's some bullshit, then I don't know.
I was going to.
They're doing an arcade anniversary collection, a Castlevania anniversary collection, and a Contra anniversary collection. All three have 8 games each.
Yeah, but I don't know which games those are, so I don't.
And we all know whatever games are quality on there should make up for the games that are not quality.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert: none of them are licensed beat 'em ups for obvious reasons.
Yeah, because they don't have the license anymore. Okay, so here it is. Let's see. The first one is the Arcade Classics, and it's coming April 18th. It's got Haunted Castle, Typhoon, Nemesis, aka Gradius, Vulcan Venture, Gradius 2, Life Force, Thundercross Scramble, and Twinbee. That's pretty good. I mean, Gradius is always good, and Twinbee's great. Haunted Castle, Thunder Force. Oh, Thunder Force is good. Next up, we have the Castlevania Collection. It's got Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy. They don't have Castlevania 2 for the NES. A lot of people hate that game. It also has Super Castlevania 4. Yes! Now, it would be great if you could switch between the US and Japanese version of that game, because the Japanese version is a little bit better. The statues as you go into Dracula's castle weren't censored, and the sewer level, when it's like there's supposed to be all that green shit, it's not the sewer level, it's the dungeon where people are tortured, and that's blood. And there's also 4 games that they're yet to be announced.
if that's true, then wouldn't it be better for some people to say that it's best to be in a sewer than in the death chamber?
I suspect that the Castlevania Anniversary Collection is made up of Castlevania games that don't use the Metroidvania style gameplay. So I expect the last 4 games to be
they'll probably have those 4 are like considered to be some of the best Castlevania games, and then I guess they might include that one Genesis one, Bloodlines, and I guess Symphony of the Night will be one, and then the other 2 might be Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow, which are the 3 Metroidvania ones. For me, I think Aria of Sorrow is better than Symphony of the Night, but that's my own personal opinion.
I was expecting Castlevania Adventures Rebirth, Bloodlines, Rondo of Blood, and Dracula X.
Yeah. They might do Dracula X, and I hope they include Aria of Sorrow, because that's a really good one, and Symphony of the Night. They might. Okay, then they have the Contra Collection, which I mean, you know, it's the original Contra, Super C, Contra 3, the Alien Wars, and 4 other Contra titles. And they'll probably include that one that was on the.
And here's what confuses me:
Genesis.
Why wasn't Haunted Castle part of the Castlevania Anniversary Collection yet?
They do have Haunted Castle. It's on the arcade classic one.
Yeah, but why aren't the first 2 Contra arcade games on the arcade classic collection as well?
They're probably going to put that on the Contra one and not the arcade collection. I don't know why. Like, to be honest with you, like, Contra is one of those rare games where the home port is better than the arcade version. Because the arcade version, you're just moving from screen to screen to screen, whereas the NES version or even the Famicom version with the disc system is one continuous screen. Like you're scrolling around instead of moving from screen to screen to screen, and the spawn rate's a little bit better. So, I mean, like Contra was hard, but it was fair. Like when you died in Contra, you knew why you died. It wasn't just some bullshit.
So,
and once again, the NES version is neglected.
No. The NES version is going to be a download for Contra, which is sad because fucking Contra began on the NES system. But it's Konami, so take what you get.
I mean, it wasn't on the NES it wasn't on the classic, and it wasn't on the Virtual Console either.
What, Super Contra? No, you could get Super Contra.
I mean the original NES Contra.
No, I'm pretty sure you could get that on the on the Wii Virtual Console. I don't know about the Wii U Virtual Console. But I could be wrong. Who knows? But anyway, let's get to the rest of this information. Let's see. Superman did have some good games on the Genesis and the arcade. Yeah, they did have the good one. They did. No, the Genesis one wasn't that good. The arcade one was good, and the NES. The NES one was good. Let's see. So how long will it be before Namco can break free from Bandai's clutches? SNK came back. Never, because like they basically have fused together. Just like you're never going to see Square Enix Japan break out from under IDOS in Europe. It's not going to happen.
And how you'll never see Sammy and Sega break apart again because they too merged.
What do you mean, again? They're never going to break apart because like Sega doesn't have the money to do it, and they just don't have the money to do it. The aborted fetus is Death Stranding. Yeah, Death Stranding is fun. Minty Microsoft, what timeline is this? Well, I mean, Microsoft realized that they just don't have the money to they don't have the money to. They can't continue to support this failing console. And don't listen to the bullshit where everyone's like, yeah, Microsoft, Phil Spencer turned that. Look, the Xbox as a brand, as a console brand, is fucked. All right? Like, they can't continue the way they've been doing. So that's why they're changing the game by saying, it's a virtual console where you can play it on anything. And, whatever, on PC. And the reason why Google is stepping up their game is because they can't allow Microsoft to essentially
jump into their turf.
Well, they can't let Microsoft rule the PC. Microsoft ruled the PC for so long that it's someone else's turn, and Google's saying, well, it's going to be me. So that's what's going on. If Capcom were to release any Monster Hunter collaboration title, which one would you want? Anyone?
I ain't got nothing.
I mean, like, the problem with Monster Hunter is that I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan.
I only had one experience with Monster Hunter, so I'm out.
Like, I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan. Like, I've played quite a few of the games, and I'm like, I understand why people like Monster Hunter, but the particular itch that Monster Hunter scratches, I already scratched years ago when I was in college, and I was playing Phantasy Star Online. Like, I played Phantasy Star Online so much that I maxed out the time counter, which the time counter on it is 999 hours, 99 minutes, and 99 seconds.
And sure, he played over 1,000 hours.
More than that. I maxed it out and still kept on playing. I've played so much of Phantasy Star Online. So I understand people who like that need to play and collect and upgrade your weapons and items so that you can fight stronger enemies and collect more shit so that you can fight stronger enemies. I've done that, and I'm not doing it again. But since you want to know, I'll throw something out there. What if they did a Monster Hunter cross Guyver? That'd be fun. Thanks to the fact that Pokemon Gen 8 is starting on the Switch, I don't know if I can maintain my life as a Pokemon fan anymore. Well, I mean, that's your choice. I mean, here's the thing, okay?
Your loss.
There's certain shit that Nintendo does that I haven't been on board with during, their newest home console, the Switch. And I just don't participate. Like, I don't want to pay $20 a year for online that I find to be kind of meh. So I don't. Not everyone needs. Not everything. Like, just because you're a fan of something doesn't mean you need to go along with everything. Like, I like Marvel's cinematic universe. Doesn't mean everything they do is good. Like how they fucked up the Mandarin. I didn't like that. How they kind of fucked up Captain Marvel. I didn't like that. How they fucked up the Hulk. I didn't like that. They've made the Hulk progressively shittier with each iteration.
I was gonna say they made them worse when it came to Infinity War.
No, well, I mean, what I'm saying is that they have, and I say this as someone who, I'm a huge Incredible Hulk fan. Like, I have the Hulk omnibus of like all of the comics from when he came into existence all the way up to the 80s. I have the Hulk encyclopedia from Marvel, signed by Jack Kirby. Signed by Stan Lee. Like, I'm a huge Hulk fan. I know Hulk facts forwards, backwards, side to side. Literally, the Hulk they have in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is one of the most bitched out, weak ass Hulks I've ever seen.
Well, they had to because more realism.
There's nothing realistic about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They had to because basically, if they had the Hulk as strong as he is in the comics, you'd have no reason for have anyone else. It's the reason why they had to create a reason to have Superman be weak, But anyway, ironically, the worst Hulk movie by some people's estimation, Ang Lee's The Hulk, has the strongest Hulk on cinema. It is Ang Lee's Hulk, and then Edward Norton's Hulk, quite a bit weaker, but still relatively powerful. But then you have the Hulk they have in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's just meh. He's not nearly as strong as he should be. He says, I always thought Mighty No. 9 is good. I'll try it out. Mighty No. 9, Mighty Number 9 is not bad. The problem with Mighty Number 9 is that they ran out of money because
bad management.
Well, NT Creates ran out of money because basically Concept, the company that Keiji Inafune started, took that money and instead of using it just for that game and getting that game out and then doing another one, he took that money and started it on and invested it in, and I'm using air quotes, in other projects, which didn't pan out. Like he invested in a Chinese.
Red Ash.
Yeah, he invested with a Chinese company, Tencent, for Red Ash, and that didn't work out. And it's like, dude, you get one project. You're a small company. You get one project out, and then you start on the next one. Okay, you're not big enough where you can handle multiple projects at the same time. Double Fine can handle multiple projects at the same time. They're working on Psychonauts 2, but they're also releasing other shit. Like that's, you know, they can do multiple shit. You aren't at that level, and that's why Concept is no more, and he had to go back to a company because, you know, he just wasn't ready for prime time.
As I said, bad money management.
Why didn't they use Muso Link for Smash Brothers Ultimate? Because the Smash Brothers games always use the most recent Link for their thing. In the mainline game, Muso Link is not a mainline character, so he's not a mainline version of Link. Like in Brawl, they used Twilight Princess Link. In Melee, they used
Ocarina of Time Link.
It was like a fusion between Ocarina of Time Link and Twilight Princess Link.
But Twilight Princess wasn't out when Melee came out.
Yeah, but it was like that game was coming up. That's what I'm saying, because it wasn't pure Ocarina of Time Link.
Well, not really. It was Wind Waker that was coming up, not Twilight Princess.
Yeah, but it wasn't pure. It wasn't pure Ocarina of Time Link either. Like it was more like a fusion between the two. But they also had Toon Link in GameCube, didn't they? If I remember correctly.
They don't have Toon Link in Melee. Only in Brawl. Onward.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, it wasn't like pure Ocarina of Time Link. And then in the original Smash Brothers, it was Ocarina of Time Link. And then in Brawl, it was, like I said, it was Twilight Princess Link. And in Ultimate, it was Skyward Sword Link.
Ultimate was Breath of the Wild Link. In Smash Bros. 4,
no, not Ultimate. Smash 4 it was Skyward Sword Link.
They still stuck with the Twilight Princess.
Well, yeah, but it was like a fusion between the two, because it wasn't like he wasn't pure Twilight Princess. It was like kind of like a fusion between the two. I mean, I didn't care because, like I said, I like Link either way. And Ultimate, they're using Breath of the Wild Link, which is, I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge. But the thing is, you can customize how the characters look. So I changed mine out because I don't fucking like Breath of the Wild all that much. It's good, but I just. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If Hudson Soft were to come back, okay, we've answered this question many times. We're not going to answer it again. If Virtual Console isn't coming back to the Switch, can Switch have its own Neo Geo compilation as a retail title? That'd be cool, but you'd have to ask Neo Geo about that. That's not up to Nintendo.
Yeah, that's third-party BS, and we don't know where that could go.
Well, that's just, I mean, Neo Geo has their own problems, like the fact that they can't seem to make a good mini console. What will it take for you to re-earn, for Capcom and Square Enix to re-earn, to regain my trust?
Years of quality, for one thing.
Capcom is going to have to start putting out more games. Like, I would love a Final Fight 4, and Final Fight Streetwise doesn't count. I would love a Final Fight 4. I would like another... But they just need to start putting out more games. More games from shit that was just awesome. But that's just me. Is there anything, you guys, what would you, oh, and Square Enix just needs to start making good Final Fantasies again. And stop sitting on those IPs that are really awesome RPG franchises that they're doing fucking nothing with. Just sitting on them so no one else can use them. Either sell them or give them to indie companies, contract them out to indie companies to make a game.
One of the big three.
Oh no, fuck that. No, don't give it to one of the big three. No. Could you imagine what would happen if Microsoft had access to that shit? They'd fuck it up even worse than Square Enix.
Probably give it to one of the more trusted third-party companies like Bandai Namco.
No, I don't trust them either. No, I tell you what I would do. I would give it to. Okay, look, they don't want to spend a lot of money making games for those IPs. Open them up to indies. Say, look, give us a pitch. Tell us how much money you're going to need for a budget. We'll give you a small budget. Make a small game.
Yeah, that probably would work. Besides, if anything, seriously, there's games that you guys are sitting on, and we want to see them.
All they need to do is just outsource to an indie company, indie studio.
Yeah, but that's me. That's my own personal opinion.
And the reason why I said give it to one of the big three is because if they're that hungry for money, they might as well do that. And it sounds like I just got quieted.
Yeah, because this podcast is starting to become close to a full-length PS Busters podcast rather than a mini podcast.
Well, if anything, we can't cut it off here.
Yeah, we have to wait until Mr. Red Fox has the final say.
And by the looks of it, he's a little busy.
And if I hear another comment from Salvar, once again, I feel like I could just scream.
Of what?
If I hear one more question or comment from Aruba Salvar.
Hello?
Oh, you're finally here. What happened? We were just discussing when are we going to end this podcast because it's starting to become more like a. And he got off. That's just great. Sorry about this, guys. There's some technical difficulties.
And I had to check on who was calling real quick.
Last thing we need is me getting blue screened.
Trust me, it happens. By the way, I just remembered to ask. You saw the thing that I posted up on the Pokemon Discord?
Yes, I did.
I mean, discuss
something about the Pokemon card games.
Yeah, because if anything, I thought at least try my point of view of sorts. It's not that bad, is it?
It's still available here, and it's already been 7 days, which means the comment section is closed.
Yeah, which I had to expect because if anything, I knew that only one person commented.
Oh no, your first reply is from a spam bot. Let me fix that. There.
Yeah.
Fixed. I'll try to reopen this article so that way there'll be more comments.
Yeah, but if anything, I at least was wanting to know if you had anything in mind with that because, well, I actually was wondering if somebody would actually look at it. And I know my thing is left.
Well, I'm not in too deep in the trading card games as I used to, so I have no comment.
Ew. Probably should have posted on VG
BPF, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You must have had some technical difficulties up the wazoo.
I did. I literally stopped in the middle of my conversation. No, basically what happened is that, sorry. We were talking about Square Enix.
Yeah.
And I dropped out. Yeah, I just don't think they're ever going to come back, because they're just, I mean, you know, like they just keep on. They won't. I mean, like I said, if they just would allow third parties to, I mean, if they just said, hey, we're going to let. We're just gonna let third parties just you know, just use this stuff. That'd be cool. I'd be cool with that. Like if they said, hey, here's 30 whatever. We're gonna give you access to this. Here's some, you know, boom. I'd be cool with that. You know, if they were like, you know, here's a small budget. Now you can use this to do X, Y, or Z. I'd be okay with that. But no, they don't want to do that. They just keep on, you know, messing up. I don't like it. I know that seems kind of, you know, kind of generic, but I don't like it. But whatever. I guess we can get to these other questions since no one has anything else they want to say about it. Is there any chance that the return of Beavers will be announced at E3 this year?
No.
I think there's a chance. But I think I can answer this. I think I can answer this for everybody. There's a chance somewhere between hell and no.
I was gonna say, the moment that ice could live in Hades is when that happens.
So that's about it. I mean, like, here's the thing. I liked Miiverse, but it's not going to be brought back. So it's not going to happen. There you go. I mean, like I said, I like Miiverse, but it's not going to come back. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's like I liked when games came out and, you know, there were no patches. The game just fucking came out and it was more or less complete. We're not going back to those days anytime soon, even though it would probably be better if we did. So, is there anything you would change about the Switch? What would it be? I would change their online service, make it free again, just like in the days of the Wii and the Wii U. I wish their online service was free, but I mean,
I just wish that their Switch has touchscreen mechanics.
Well, they kind of do, but they kind of don't really work because it's just. Here's the thing. I wish Nintendo hadn't been so quick to throw in the towel on the two-screen experience like they did with the Wii U, and went to the Switch, because I actually liked. Like, there's some games that just are better with the two-screen experience. Like, Splatoon is great, you know, with the Joy-Cons and all that stuff, but you just can't beat that two-screen experience. It would make there's certain modes of the game that just would be so much better with the second screen there. Like when you're doing, Salmon Run would be great with the second screen. Instead of like, help, it's like, oh, I can look down and see someone's in trouble and just, you know, do what I need to do. Instead of like, you know, all that other bullshit. So, I mean, there's just little small things.
I'm surprised that took so long to have people cry for the second screen.
Well, I mean, because a lot of people who are playing Splatoon now didn't play Splatoon, the first Splatoon. The only people who are really missing the second screen are people who played the first Splatoon, because you can see how in Splatoon 2 there's certain aspects that they're like, oh, we didn't need the second screen. It just does not. There's certain things just don't feel right with just a Joy-Con or
I agree on.
I use a Pro controller. It just that second screen experience really helps Splatoon. The Monster Rancher franchise has recently released a Twitter account to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Monster Rancher 2. Think of a new release might finally be announced after many years. I do. Just keep on hoping. Probably not, but you can keep on hoping. I think the beat 'em up and scrolling shooter genre needs more attention, just like good old days. I think beat 'em ups might make a comeback, but they're ultra niche, so probably not. Scrolling shooting genre, yeah, that definitely needs to come back because it's not that expensive to make. I think 2019 will be the year of hack and slash games. I hope we get at least 4 Muso collaboration titles. Well, you keep on hoping. You're lucky we might get one. 2019 being the year of hack and slash games,
Probably because of Astro Chains coming later this year.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of
as well as Devil May Cry 5 that came out a few weeks ago.
I mean, like, how can I put this nicely? I like DMC, I really do, but
and of course Bayonetta 3.
Yeah, but Bayonetta, in my opinion,
not as good as the Devil May Cry games.
No, I was going to say isn't really a hack and slash in the traditional sense. Like, because here's the problem. Here's the problem with Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is essentially like Bayonetta. Bayonetta is really combo heavy, and a hack and slash, much like a beat 'em up. Like, anybody should be able to pick up and play a beat 'em up. Anybody should be able to pick up and play a hack and slash. If a hack and slash, if your enjoyment is walled off by how skilled you are, that kind of precludes anybody from playing it. Like, I like Wonderful 101, but not anybody can play Wonderful 101. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got a really
it's one of those games that really gets high in difficulty the more you play it.
Yeah, and so that's my problem with saying that Bayonetta is a hack and slash. It's like a hack and slash, like, okay, Turtles in Time is a hack and slash.
Yes.
Like, anybody can just pick up and play Turtles in Time. You might not be great at it, but even when you're getting your ass kicked, you're gonna have fun. Like, beat 'em ups. Anybody can pick up and play a beat 'em up. You might not be great at it, but even, you're gonna do some shit that's gonna make you feel like a badass. Like, DMC has too high of a difficulty curve, especially some of the skill-based things you got to do later on in the game. I'm sorry. It's no.
That's too much.
So that's just me. That's my own personal opinion. I know some people are going to disagree because people love to disagree with everything because some people are assholes. But that's my own personal opinion. I don't think that everything is going to be, I don't think everything is going to be, whatever. I think people just get way too I think the problem with a lot of people is that they get way too into shit like that, and they don't understand that, I think beat 'em ups as a genre are coming back if people keep them simple, but they're never going to be as big as they were back in the day because gamers don't play shit like that like they do back in the day. People get weird, I feel uncomfortable beating up women in video games.
Even in
fighting games, yes. Let's see. We all are ready to have first-person beat 'em ups. There's Breakdown for the Xbox by Namco. Yeah, but Breakdown sucked. Did you mention that you would send a couple of? Yeah, I did. If Nintendo's next handhelds were to come out in 2021, would it be likely for the next home console to come out in the year after that, 2022? No, I think Nintendo's gonna stretch the Switch out for maybe 6-7 years.
They say they're gonna support it for 10 years.
I think 6 or 7 is more likely. And I think what's going to happen is that they're going to introduce a new handheld, maybe 2021. And I think the new handheld is going to be heavily, it's going to be built to be heavily, well, actually that makes sense. If they do 10 years for the Switch, then the next handheld is going to be heavily integrated with the Switch. And it'll have a long enough time for them to really take advantage of that integration. There will be a day when Bandai will go bankrupt and Namco will be supreme once again. Keep on hoping, Jorge. Keep on hoping. Probably not, but you can keep on hoping.
This guy's delusional.
I'm not going to go that far, but I mean, Bandai is not going to go bankrupt because Bandai owns too much shit that makes money in Japan. And as long as Bandai, and here's the thing, not only
Sentai's.
Yeah, not only do they own shit that goes like, okay, they bought Power Rangers. No, was it Power Rangers?
No. That was Hasbro that bought Power Rangers.
Yeah, they sold Power Rangers to Hasbro. They literally just got a huge amount of money for one of the most valuable franchises ever. So yeah, they're going to be fine. Okay, they're going to be fine. Captain Marvel, the film, is worse than being disappointing. It's not really the film. The problem with the film is that they let the message that they were trying to get across, that she's a strong female woman, get in the way of telling a good story, which is the worst, is the most egregious thing when you let your agenda get in the way of a good story. And that's the problem with a lot of
Ghostbusters.
That's the problem with Ghostbusters 2016, because they they wanted to tell a story of female empowerment. First of all, yes, I'm not saying that women don't face discrimination in today's day and age, because they do. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, they don't. They do. What I will say is that how they went about it in Ghostbusters 2016, they fucked up. I'm gonna pitch you a better Ghostbusters 2016 movie. What if they made a film set at the turn of the century, like the 1900s, and what if they made a Ghostbusters film set in Chicago, in New York, okay, in New York City, that was a prequel to the original Ghostbusters?
And what would be their prototype proton packs?
Well, that's the thing. You could use kind of like that steampunk shit from that steampunk eldritch pseudoscience shit from the Cthulhu mythos, which Ghostbusters kind of takes that stance, because the whole thing is that, like, before, the reason Zool comes in the first Ghostbusters is because Ivan Shandor and his cult do that sacrifice, right? They're like, this world is too sick to live, all that shit. You could do an entire movie about that ritual being cut short, because Zool was supposed to come then, but they was stopped. And you could do a whole movie about 4 women set in the 19 whatevers, stopping that event. And that would have been awesome. Maybe Ivan Shandor and his cultists managed to kill a fat guy at a hotel who really likes to eat. Turns into a ghost later on. Call him Slimer in the future. He gets killed in the movie, but at the end, like, he pops up as a ghost, and he's a fat guy who likes to eat. Slimer. Okay, there you go. There's your connection. Like, it's a one big prequel for the original Ghostbusters. That could have worked, but did they do that? No, because they had to tell this story. And they had to force this agenda down people's throats, which, I mean, you know, look, it failed. It failed miserably. Because if you're going to, listen, if you're going to have an agenda, have a good movie first, then have an agenda.
And the fact that they even tried to critic shame some people about this, about that, and Miss Marvel, made the movies even worse.
Now, Miss Marvel isn't as bad as Ghostbusters 2016 because it's not as beating you over the head like with a massive meat sausage about this is about strong feminism characters, you motherfucker.
Funny how you said that line.
it's not quite as blatant as Ghostbusters 2016, but it is
obvious.
It is. Well, I mean, it was there. Like, it hurt the story that they couldn't admit. It hurt the story that they couldn't have her get her powers from Marvel. It hurt the story that in order for her to overcome her enemy, she just had to. Like, here's the thing, okay? The whole point of the movie was to show a strong female character that fights against stereotypes, and yet, in order for her to use her powers, she has to become emotional and get pissed off. I mean, don't you think that's kind of ironic? It's like, she's a strong female character. How does she use her powers? Oh, she gets angry and just throws a temper tantrum.
Some people would make the joke that she's a female Hulk.
Well, I was going to say they'd make a PMS joke, but I wasn't going to be so crass, so I didn't. But my point is that that's just really kind of, it's lazy. It's fucking lazy. And, you know, like, I know Marvel is better than this because they did Black Panther last year, and that was a fucking good movie.
That was a legend.
Yet it still didn't win the Oscars for Best Picture. It lost to The Green Book.
Yeah, which is some bullshit. Another white savior movie, just what we needed.
Hallelujah.
I fucking hate those movies. White savior movies. I hate white savior movies.
Though people think Roma should have won instead of Green Book and Black Panther.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. Roma's a better movie than Green Book. Green Book isn't terrible, but it's not like as good as people may make it out to be. But that's just me, you know. Who am I? I'm just some asshole who watches movies as a hobby.
Meanwhile, Infinity War won Jack at the Oscars.
Yeah, but Infinity War made a lot of money. That was its purpose. It wasn't there to win. Look, Black Panther won, what, 3 Oscars? So, I mean, listen.
But there are Marvel fans who want Infinity War to be nominated for the Oscars than Black Panther, and they think that's the better movie than Black Panther because it's a technical cinematic achievement than Black Panther.
Yeah, but Black Panther is a better film on a... Okay. Infinity War may have better... They put more money into the special effects, but I can't say that the message behind Infinity War is more profound than the message that was in Black Panther. I can't say that. And I won't, because I would be lying if I said that. And, you know, you're my viewers. You deserve better than me just saying shit just for platitude's sake. Let me get into these questions. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, but overall, I think Captain Marvel isn't a bad movie. It's just not great. It's not as good as other films in the series. Let me put it this way. In my top 5 worst Marvel films, I would put Captain Marvel from least worst to most worst. I would say Captain Marvel's number 2. of least worst.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that's not terrible. But here's the thing. Even the worst Marvel film is better than anything I got from the DC Snyderverse. So I mean, that's there's levels to these things. There's levels. It's not just that's a terrible movie. It's like I can watch it. Like with number 5 being Thor: The Dark World, because that movie is fucking horrible. But it's still better than anything I got from the DC Snyderverse. Like I would rather watch Thor: The Dark World 5 times in a row because it's forgettable than have to watch Man of Steel again. Or Batman v Superman. Or Suicide Squad.
Or Justice League.
Like, I don't want to see any of those movies ever again. Whereas Thor: The Dark World, which is a bad movie, but it's forgettable. Like, I watch it and I forget what the fuck happened. I don't even remember the name of the villain. Malakath, he's the villain. But aside from that, I don't remember what happened. I just know there was some shit, a dark elf, some fighting, whatever. That's all I remember about that movie. But anyway, if Konami doesn't use their money to reopen Hudson Soft and at least try to work on a new Graded 6, you do not want to know what I will do to scar Konami for life. Not give them your money, like they're going to give a shit because they're making so much money off of pachinko machines and their health club, and all the money they own they get from their health from the health insurance co-op that they're a major shareholder of. Konami doesn't need video games anymore. It's not their primary revenue generator, so they don't give a shit. I'm sorry, but they don't care. It's like I don't care if one person doesn't. I don't care. Like, okay, I have enough revenue generated from my normal customer base that more people is nice, but I'm not like, oh man, if one person doesn't go to my business, I'm fucked. No, it doesn't work that way. When will Namco bring us another Pac-Man platformer and not that Ari Avid shit? Well, the Pac-Man platformer wasn't that good, if I remember correctly. It was kind of shitty. So, can I stop saying Bandai Namco or Bamco or Bandai or Bamco or Namdai? No, I can't, because that's what it's called. It's Bandai Namco or Namco Bandai, whatever. They merged. They're big. See, the problem with Bandai Namco is that they're half-assed as fuck. Like, they'll do something and it's like, oh, this is awesome, but then it'll be shit when you look at it in the details. Like, they're like, yeah, we're releasing Tales of Symphonia on PC, but it's the PS2 version, so it's shit. Because that's like the worst version of that game. They're like, yeah, we're going to release this game on the Switch, but we're going to charge you like 30% more because it's on the Switch. Whatever.
AKA the Switch tax.
Can you stop saying let's see. Infinity War made you rage quit. I mean, whatever, man. It's your opinion. And you said you were right that Konami owns Dragon Ball and framed them for copyright infringement. Yeah, but you can't, because Dragon Ball is owned by the rights reverted back to Akira Toriyama, so he owns the rights, and everyone in Japan knows that. So, I mean, like here's the thing, Jorge. Here's what you need to do if you really legitimately want to get a new Hudson Soft division with Hudson Soft games made. Here's what you do. Start a letter writing campaign, except people don't write letters anymore. A Twitter campaign. Be respectful and say, go to Konami Twitter and say, hey, it would be nice if you guys would open up a division in your company just for Hudson Soft IPs and start putting out more Hudson Soft IPs under like the Hudson name. And, I mean, I'd buy it. And if you got more people on board and they saw that there's money there, because companies like to make money unless you're a nonprofit, and then whatever profit that's generated is just reinvested back in the company for reasons. That's what you would do. That's the best way to get Konami to do something. Although they might not, because like I said, most of their revenue generated is not on consoles or gaming in general. It's pachinko and their health company. So, yeah.
They had a card company too.
Well, I mean, but even then, like, Yu-Gi-Oh's not as big as it used to be. Like, most of their money is gambling and their health company. That's it. I mean, I'm sorry.
That is true, sadly.
They don't need you. If I was to convince someone to end the merger, what would you do? There's nothing I can do. Listen, man. Sometimes you just gotta look.
You keep trying.
You gotta let it go. You just gotta be like, you know what? Fuck it. Look, you gotta find something
we're not
else.
going to use.
Yeah, you gotta find something else to play. Like there's Bomberman like games out there now. You know, there's like there's a 3D Castlevania game. It's called Darksiders. That entire trilogy is nothing but 3D Castlevania. It's got a gothic premise. It's got you're running around beating the shit out of like gothic ass monsters. The third one has a chick with a whip, and she can whip swing on shit and move around. It's fucking Castlevania done in 3D. It works really well. You can turn the volume down and listen to classic Castlevania tunes like Vampire Killer and Bloody Tears and Dance of the Holy Man. Song of the Room of the Three Fiends. It works really well. So calm the fuck down, dude. You can't have everything. You know, you gotta pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my own personal opinion. You know, I could be wrong because, you know, I'm a human, and human beings are sometimes wrong. Yeah, human beings are sometimes wrong. That's just how life is. You know, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right. Unless you're R. Kelly, then you're always wrong.
And word of advice, please stop repeating the same questions over and over again, and start asking some brand new questions. The old questions are starting to get a bit annoying on our part, for some of us.
Unless it's R. Kelly, because fuck that guy. But actually, don't fuck that guy.
That'd be TMI.
Although I don't know why people are surprised. I'll say this before we end it. I don't know why people are surprised by R. Kelly, because he had been telling people for years, listen to his songs. Toot toot beep beep. This motherfucker at a playground, and seems like she ready. She looked like she ready.
So you're saying you also that he might have AIDS based on his Trapped in the Closet series?
No.
Trapped in
the Closet is a reference to people hiding secrets in the closet, which, considering the shit he been doing and how he likes to videotape things, I don't think there's nothing hidden in the closet at all. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's wrap things up.
Yeah.
Pimp out what you want to pimp out, and then we'll end it, because this BS Busters went a little bit longer than what I was anticipating. But hey, we had fun, so it's worthwhile.
Oh yeah. So if anything, I'm good to go. So if anything, we could advertise about video game facts.
All right.
Well, I've got nothing else to say when I'll be posting at PGF, other than I'm brainstorming some ideas for upcoming ones, like Wii U apologists and weebs versus furries. Normies, which group normies hate the most?
I don't even get it.
I'm not sure if you want to know.
Basically, weebs are people who are a fan of anime, and furries are people who are a fan of anthropomorphic animals.
And I think you'll find an intersection, because there are people who are fans of animes that have furry animals in them. So whatever. As far as Wii U apologists go, here's all I'm going to say. I'm gonna jump in before. I am tired of people saying that, oh, the Wii U failed because of bad advertising. The Wii U failed because Nintendo. The Wii U failed for two reasons. Well, one primary reason. Because Nintendo let third parties dictate how they wanted that console to go. If Nintendo had basically said, fuck you guys, we're going to put out our games first and not give you any, put out our really good games like they did with the Switch. We're like, you third parties do what the fuck you want, but we're gonna do what we need to do. The Wii U would have been fine. Okay. The Switch probably would have just been coming out this year. Okay. Had they done that. So that's the only problem with the Wii U. Aside from that, great console. Loved it. That's it.
Yeah.
Wrap this shit up. Peace. Good night. Enjoy your movies. Watch TV. Go take a nap. Whatever. I drank a cocktail with Red Bull in it, so I'm wide fucking awake. So peace.
And hype